The Acurus M8 home theater amplifier packs a lot of power and versatility into a small package. Let's talk about it. First things first, big shout out and thank you to Acurus for sending over these amplifiers and of course sponsoring this feature overview and setup video. If you guys are interested in checking out these amplifiers in person, make sure to check out Acurus booth at CEDIA this year. It's in a couple of weeks actually. They're in Sound Room 9. They'll be having a 9.10.6 Dolby Atmos setup with something outrageous like over 22,000 watts of power. So completely ridiculous, but whatever. That's what they're going to do. You guys should definitely check it out if you're going to be there. I'll be floating around, so make sure you follow my Instagram to see where I'm at. And if I'm not there and you're there, just make sure you ask to get one of my demos, my Dolby Atmos demos. They should have all my Dolby Atmos demos on their network, so if you are there, make sure to ask for the TechnoDad special. Anyway, let's get into some quick stats of these 8-channel home theater amplifiers. The Acurus M8 retails for $5,500 and is a Class D amplifier boasting 200 watts per channel into a 4 or 8 ohm load with all 8 channels driven. It will also output 320 watts per channel into 4 or 8 ohms with the bridged mono function. The amps come with a factory certification paper showing tested numbers, and for this particular amp, it measured 203 watts per channel into an 8 ohm load on a standard home circuit. Also in the box, you get speaker connectors, a 3-prong IEC cable. Now there is no trigger cable, so I ordered a couple from Amazon. I asked them about it and they're just not included. It is what it is. On the front, we have a power button and that's about it. Very nice, clean design with a brushed look. Super sexy. Turning the M8 around, we can see 8 XLR inputs. No RCAs on this one. Just below, we have the Phoenix connector, which actually stopped me in my tracks because I didn't have a flathead screwdriver small enough to get this to work. So I had to delay another day because Home Depot was closed and I just couldn't find anything around here that was small enough. So make sure you got something if you're going to pick up these amps. Rounding out the connections on the back, we have an IR input, 12 volt trigger input, RS-232 connection, Ethernet port, USB port, and the power port and main power switch on the far right. Now, if you've been watching the channel or you know anything about me, I've been saying that a 7.1.6 Dolby Atmos configuration is the optimal one to go for, and that's what I'm putting together here in my studio. And you know I want to be organized, so I wanted to label all the inputs just in case I need to make any changes. I will have a total of 16 channels that I can amplify, as each input is one speaker. So with all 13 channels labeled, you can see I have 3 unused channels. Now that seems like a bit of a waste, doesn't it? But here's where the bridged mono feature comes in handy. Now I can bridge the whole front stage and still have amplifier channels for the other speakers. So I can do a total of 13 speakers with these 2 amps running the front stage bridged. So the front stage will be getting 320 watts per channel for those 3, and the rest of the speakers will be getting 200 watts. That's pretty cool. So when connecting bridged mono, let's say for channel 1, you're going to put your XLR into channel 1, and the positive pole for your speaker output will be on the left side of the Phoenix connector, and the negative pole for the speaker will be on the far right. So you're using the top markings on the amplifier. So for a regular setup where it's just all individual channels, you're going to use the markings on the bottom of the Phoenix connector on the amplifier. Now, of course, the next logical question is, how does the amplifier know which configuration you're running? And this is where the Ethernet port comes in handy. Since one amp is using all the channels and there's no bridging going on, we only need to plug in the amp to the network that we need to configure. Now, I had trouble finding the amp on the network, so Acurus recommended I use an app called LANScan to find it easily, and that's what I did. For PC users, you can use an app called Fing to do the same thing. So I found the amp IP address and typed it into the browser window, And here's where you can tell the amp to bridge channels. As you can see, the B in the circle is what you want to see when you are bridging channels, and the M in the orange circle is the standard mono channels. So in this picture, we have 3 channels bridged and 2 mono channels, a total of 8 channels, but only 5 speakers. So if you wire the amp in such a way, you will need to go into the web interface and set up the amp like so. Now, if we jump over to the other amp where we are using all 8 channels for 8 different speakers, we will want to have all mono channels as shown here. Now, I think this is a really cool feature if you think about what's actually happening here. We've got a front stage that's got more power, and we're running 13 channels. So if we were to do this with an amplifier that was like an AB, we'd have a 3-channel amplifier and then 2 5-channel amplifiers. And that starts to stack up as far as space is concerned. I mean, I know I had 2 Parasound 5-channel amplifiers. One of them was like 100 pounds. So big, heavy. And now we can do this with 2 amplifiers that are Class D, and they take up just about 8 inches of height when stacked together. So that's pretty impressive. I like that. That's pretty cool. I am hyped up about these amplifiers. Big power, small package, 16 channels of clean, unadulterated power. What more could you ask for? Check out the link down in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.